Hello everybody, and welcome to this process tutorial in which I'm going to show you how we can take a SketchUp model, which we can find on the SketchUp 3D warehouse, like this chair from Modloft, and then download it via GLB and import it into Blender to scale. So in Blender, this chair will also be 24-23 by 32 inches. In Blender, then I will show you how we can import the chair via the GLB importer. There it is. This comes in as multiple individual objects plus a lot of extra stuff. I will then show you how we can clean everything up, join this all into one easy to use and manipulate body. We will also correct the materials. You see the wood looks really like wood, not like this. The polished steel really looks like polished steel, not like whatever we see there. And then we prepare basically this chair so that it then via the append command can be inserted into any other Blender file. And the crowning end of this tutorial, I selected the chair and you see 23, 32, 23. So this chair does actually come over from the SketchUp warehouse to Blender to scale, which is perfect. Okay, with all that said, let's do it. Okay, let's get started. We are on the SketchUp 3D warehouse. Inside the search field, I search, for example, for this chair. I can find it then. If I now scroll down, here I see some product information. This chair has 6,213 polygons. That means if I go into the 3D view and zoom in a little bit, well, this looks actually all pretty nice. But if I zoom into this rounded corner, we can see that this looks pretty janky. The same with the upholstery part. Something I will show you later in Blender. If we look from the bottom, we can see there is a lot of mechanical elements. So this was actually first designed inside a CAD application for manufacturing. And then from there, they exported a low resolution version. So it could be, for example, placed inside interior design architecture programs. SketchUp, AutoCAD, Revit, 3D Max, Maya, or Blender. SketchUp and Revit are notorious for being very slow with high resolution models, which is why this is a rather low resolution model. Blender or 3D Max Maya, they don't care. Okay, anyway, this model is supplied in inches. It fits into a 24-23 by 32 bounding box, and it was created 2021. We have three materials, quite nice: the walnut, the desert, and the polished steel. And then when we here click on this model to go to the product page, we see, whoops, HTML page error 404. Page not found. What does this mean? Well, very simple. That chair doesn't exist anymore. The reason why I show you this is it is very important to know when you go to SketchUp Warehouse or any 3D website that offers 3D models to make sure that that chair, if this is for a commercial project, still can be purchased. If I go to here and type in chair and collections, and let's say dining chair, this is what Modloft right now only offers, nothing else. Anyway, so let's go back to here. Now we would like to insert this into our host application. For SketchUp, we can simply download the SketchUp file. So this would be for SketchUp and Revit, for example, Fusion 360. Blender, we can use a GLB format. This comes in to scale. This is actually also a great format if you want to host a file, make it viewable on your website, by the way. This what you see here, that is GLB, by the way. The Collada is outdated, so let's use this one. You can click on it, downloads it, go to your downloads folder. There it is. Let's go to Blender. Before we continue, here I just show you I set everything to imperial and inches. This plane I delete. File, import. There is the GLB importer. There is the file. Very good. Beautiful. Cool. Okay, let's click on this material shading preview. Now you see the materials come with it, including this janky geometry. There's a lot of garbage stuff in this imported model. So what we will do first is we can go and say select all. Then we go to parent, clear and keep transformations. Then we select all these empties plus that one with shift left mouse button and command or control, select X and delete. So all that stuff is gone. All I want is just these individual parts. So this is metal, this is metal, this is walnut, this is fabric, this is metal. And now the question we have, this is a matter of preference, is how would you want to set everything up? Individual objects you move around or single object? If this is, for example, for an interior design application, it might simply be easier to select all this and put this into one container, one object. But I'll show you both. What we do first is we press A or select all, then right mouse button click and say origin to geometry. Pay attention to all these dots. They will now switch right to the center of the geometry. Oh, by the way, you see there, this is what I meant. This was done inside the CAD application. Okay, now I have all these individual objects. What I can do is now I press A, then I think about, okay, when I move stuff around, which is the easiest object to select? That might be the backrest. So shift left mouse button, make sure this is selected in brighter orange. And then I say parent. So with parent, if I select the backrest and then move this around, you see everything follows it. And here there are the individual objects, which I now could select and then for each object change the material. This is version 1. If you want to have access to the individual parts. Let me show you now version 2. I Control Z everything before I have the parenting. Very good. And now I'm trying to see where do I have an object that has a great center point. So you see here this origin is a little bit to the side. Maybe this design is a little bit not so clean. Here too, this is not so good. I'm a little bit perfectionist, so what I'm going to show you is you can press A to select everything, and then we just go to join. Now this is one big object. We can call this one chair. Right click, origin to geometry, go to the front view, Z and wireframe. You see here, this is a tick off. If I go to a side view, this also tick off. If we, now the question is, where does this inaccuracy come from? Here's a backrest, there's a center point. So what I will do the following is edit, select this point, maybe Shift S, cursor to selected, leave edit mode, right click and say origin to 3D cursor. So now there, it's perfectly positioned. Cool. Again, I'm just super picky here right now. I could also put this origin on the ground. I press N, go to view. There's this 3D cursor. Put this on the ground. This is actually the y-axis. Could go to here. And then with this, slide this to where maybe this is under the cylinder. I'm doing this holding the shift and left mouse button while sliding this, and then right click, origin, flop there, if you want to do it that way. Because now if I press R and Z, it rotates around the center, by the way. Well, that's the advantage. Cool. Okay. I can now select my object, go to items and say, hey, go to the 0 position of my scene. Shift S, cursor to world origin. Shift A, add a plane. S, make a plane nice and big. Turn on the material preview. Oh, look at that. It looks quite nice. The last step now is to fix the common material issues I see very often with exported files, also coming from SketchUp Warehouse. So when I select this object, I have now my 3 different materials. Let's go with the wood. It claims the wood to be metallic. No, this is wood. It is not metallic. So sorry. It's also very rough. Let's lower the roughness. Oh, this is very reflective. But hey, this is wood and not plastic with a print. So the specularity, we just go to 0. So now we have a nice and sanded version. Wood surfaces very often, then later we seal with a polyurethane. So here's a clear coat. When we go back, you see we get kind of like a reflection over it. With this slider, basically, we say how reflective, and then with the roughness, we can roughen up that reflection a little bit there. This actually looks more believable. Cool. So this is actually a more proper way. I could, to be honest, also have increased the reflection here a little bit, and the roughness visually it might have looked very similar, but wood also has a little bit of oil and glossiness. You do it with that. And then with this coat, that basically then is the polyurethane finish that goes over it. There we are. Cool. Okay. Go back to the object. Here is our fabric. And here's a polished steel. That does not look like polished steel because these clowns made the polished steel sandblasted. Nope. There it is. Now it's polished steel. We can increase this a little bit because even if we polish it, it might not be super polished. There are like scratches, etc. on it, just a notch. That makes it less ray traced perfection effect. That's kind of like a term we use in computer graphics. If a design is too perfect, it lacks the inaccuracies of nature. And honestly, we are done now. So the chair is renamed. This plane was just only for, how could I say that? To have a drop shadow. We can now save this wherever we want. There we are. Let's save, I call this simply chair. Whoops. Should logically have the share of the product. Should have the name of the product. Let's go to new. Let's assume this is a new design. I want that share to come in there. Then I will go file, append. I go to where this chair is. There it is. Thank you. There's my object. Here's my chair, append. And there it is. Perfectly. Z and material preview. Nope, all is done. And now I can take this share and position this around inside a not yet existing interior space. And that's it.